The living room, where the family meets to discuss issues, any issue which may be bothering one of the family members. That's what we do each and every Tuesday on WAC 90.1 FM with Ricardo Mitchell and DJ Aaron 868. We have casual conversations on serious topics, from sports to culture, mental health to economics, relationships to life lessons. Join us each and every Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. on WAC 90.1 FM. The Living Room, casual conversations on serious topics.
It is now 6 p.m. here in Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know what time it is where you are, but I'm glad to know you're locked on to the True Nation Station, WACK 90.1 FM, where we are
culture crazy.
First and foremost, let's kick it off as we always do, all right? Must give thanks and praises to the Almighty for granting us the gift of life and seeing another day. No matter what time of day it is, you must always
give thanks.
Secondly, we must say thank you to those that went before us, and when we say that, we're not just talking about our ancestors, the Tainos and the Kalinagos, the original inhabitants of Trinidad and Tobago, but also to our brother in music, Tony Prescott, and the P this week stands for
Partido.
What?
Partido.
Spanish for game.
That's right. Spanish for game, Aaron.
After this weekend, I think I should at least know some level of Spanish, huh?
You should be able to hablar de español.
Yeah. And I guess that P is in reference to the greatest show on earth, not Carnival 2023, but the greatest show on earth, that is the World Cup that just started on Sunday in Qatar.
Yeah, which was the beginning of a Qatar stay. Yeah.
They didn't get those?
Yeah, proper Qatars.
Oh, no, I thought they get those.
Oh, yeah. You see what is going on here? Puns all over the place.
Right. If you don't know the show that you're listening to, this is The Living Room with yours truly, DJ Aaron 868. I'm always great and I'm never late. Alongside my bro with no fro but plenty of flow,
Ricardo Mitchell, the baby face sage, at least until I grow back the goatee.
We need to get you some Jamaican castor oil.
You don't worry about no Jamaican anything, right? And based on the way I see you perform this weekend, I surprised it's not Venezuelan castor oil you want to offer me, but we're gonna leave that right where it is.
Please do. Please.
We
My mother just listen to the show, you know.
Kirk is right.
Please.
The P this week is put in place. Hey, that is actually another thing that we could touch on, but we could get to that.
Right. And you know, this week we are joined by a gentleman, but Ricardo will do the proper introduction. But if you haven't realized the face that's in with us, you clearly probably listening on the radio alone. But the gentleman sitting in with us is none other than Mr. Richard Williams. No relation, earlier. None whatsoever.
No relation.
That depends. Where your family from?
Which the Williams side? They from some parts in Barataria and Sando.
Alright, you're safe. Mine originates in Princestown.
Hey, Princestown?
I think you have auntie named Marjo.
Nah, not that I recall.
Alright, cool. Alright, we can show one time.
Yeah. Now, I thought it was only sense that having introduced Willy to the living room, right, with the Willy with our segments, that the people got an opportunity to meet the gentleman and learn for themselves why I was adamant about bringing him to the show. It's actually it could be about a year now. I catch Willy one side and I message him, I tell him, I say, hey, we have something to do. And then we bunks up in a movie and I tell him we have something to do.
Yeah.
Right? And now we're doing the thing. Right. Willy has a I want to say a social media following. Let's just say that many Trinbagonians look forward to seeing what Willy going to say this week and why. Right? His Facebook is a place where I want to say contention. I would like to say that you have a very interesting spin on commentary.
My whole take is just to provoke thought. So you'll get bits of everything. Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, the one that caught me the most thus far, well, beside the sharing of the videos and pictures of the dead bodies, was the Petrotrin commentary. Because as somebody that drives through that compound on a daily basis and sees another white elephant in our country, it is an eyesore. It hurts my heart because not only was I affected personally or my friends affected, but to see another structure in Trinidad and Tobago being overrun by weeds and vines, which, as you said, that could have been an asset in this downturn of the oil.
Yeah, well, I hear you on that, huh? What caught my eye with Willy was actually several years ago. Besides...
Well, you know him a long time, so you could say that.
Well, let me explain this too, eh? My cousin Michelle Harris, right? That's in terms of my family, it's 4 of us, and Michelle them side is 4, and all the cousins managed to be paid off in age. I don't know if it was intentional. I don't know how they did it back in the 80s, but Michelle was my cousin.
Sorry.
Right?
My mind just went so far with that.
Anyway, I live in that right where it is. All the Williams, no relation. But anyway, so my cousin Michelle had this friend, right? Richard Williams. Real cool fella, real funny fella, real bright fella. But I didn't know Willy. I heard of Willy in the Benedicts and Prayers days because Michelle say she know Willy, right? If you don't know Willy. Back then, Prayers and Benedicts wasn't... I mean, at the end of the day, you would have stayed in your zone, right? You might have 1 or 2 partners. It wasn't like it is nowadays where...
Actually, we were. The rivalry used to more or less stem from the time we hit Library Corner.
Correct is right. Right?
Oh,
Correct
when you all were battling for prominent grey skirt?
The attention of the grey skirts.
Yeah. As well as the maroon skirts, the blue skirts.
And
I mean, so this
used to battle for the grey skirts? Sorry, the blue skirt?
I will have you anyway. So let me stay on point. All right, what's going on here with this Willy now? I heard the name back then. Willy he's bringing a dread and all them kind of thing, and we had similar circles, but we never really bounced up, right? And what really tipped the scale in terms of our spheres intersecting was several years ago. There was a decision to remove a state-owned entity from the coffers, right? Several of us who were generally employed by this organization in some form or another, and who had the capacity to do so, began speaking out about certain things in a manner that was less rah and more, these are the facts, these are the experiences, this is what people going through and what we foresee going to happen. And I remember Willy dropped a very candid post, several, about the process of the shutdown, about the way that we were impacted, the sacrifices we'd made, the risks, etc. And that was when you didn't just show up on my radar, but you stayed on my radar, right? Over the years, I've seen you develop certain skills and create opportunities for yourself and that type of thing, go through the recovery process as many of us had to and are still going through. And I kind of wanted to have a conversation with you as we recognize that Saturday gone was International Men's Day, because I had to say it how I had to say it. We need more people like you. And I want to say that we need more men like you, because you're outspoken, you're principled, you're positive, but still correctively critical, right? We know where you stand when you stand. As an example, I've never heard your name called up in anything or heard anything that would have me saying, well, don't get tied up with Willy. So I kind of want the people to understand the character of the man that we introduced to the living room. And for you to share a bit of your story as well too. So hopefully you wouldn't just show up on people's radar, but you will retain a place there. So Willy, I want to thank you for everything that you've been doing, recognized and unrecognized. And I'm really honored to meet you and know you.
Same here. Because same thing, your cousin, which is a very good friend of mine. I mean, just up to today, would have had an interaction on Facebook. I mean, but that was totally humor. That wasn't anything serious. But yeah, and same thing, positive vibes. The program, everything, and the whole graphic artist and everything. Oh, might have some work to do. That's for another time. Yeah.
Yeah. I see the bottle over your shoulder and talking about that. And even all talks aside, even the loose juice is an elementary thing I want to talk about. Plain talk, bad manners, because it was a part of the recovery process.
Yeah.
Right? The same way I went into graphics, you went into manufacturing.
Yeah. So where this would have come about was a friend of mine. We decided that we were going to take party into a more intimate setting. So we were kind of disenchanted with the astronomical increase in prices. So we decided to put on some events that would not break your pocket then. And this was born out of that, because trying to create a cost-effective and efficient party vibe, you had to have a product. So we had a free drinks event, and we decided what we could do. So we went to purchase beers, you run the mill alcohol, and you're like, yo, in order to save money, why don't you just make something? So I must say, my business partner was the one who came up with the first recipe. So we started off with 2 flavors. This is actually the sorrel, which is more popular around Christmas time, of course. And now we are up to, if I'm not mistaken, 12
flavors.
Yeah.
Or loose juice.
Yeah.
So I ain't gonna ask you about your ingredients, but all I say is that loose juice apparently is a nice party starter. It's a nice mixer.
We have done everything from weddings to all inclusives.
Yeah. So
I think one of our biggest all inclusives was actually Prestige.
Hey, don't make joke.
Yeah.
That is what we're talking about, right? Back in the day, you stay in your zone, but nowadays our zone is Trinidad and Tobago.
Correct.
Aaron, if I'm not mistaken, you familiar with the loose juice?
Yeah, I remember having it at curry duck competition. BC. And when I say BC, I mean before COVID.
All right.
No, that's the new meaning of BC, before COVID.
Yeah. That was the competition that was on the promenade.
Yes.
Yeah. I think we finished second in that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because apparently you're loosening up some of the judges. But anyway.
It didn't work that one. But before we get any further into today's interview, we need to take a moment and say please and thank you. But I want to give a special shout out and mention to Rivalries. Right? They would have released this, I don't know if they call it the second track or third track. We won't put number to it, but they would have released a song doing vocals with Pretty.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Big up Rivalries.
Yeah, big up Willy.
As the young people would say, big up you.
Yeah. And
correct.
We actually got to see Pretty perform the track in I Am Lion this weekend.
Yeah, boy.
Terry Lyon's concert was amazing.
I would have liked to be there. I saw the backdrop and everything, and I was like, yeah, this would be good.
Yeah.
Yesterday, after our lunchtime, I would have taken a couple minutes and messaged Terry. And I told her, I was like, Terry, I feel like I owe you money, girl. Right?
Yeah,
and she was like, for what, boy? I said, Terry, it had no way $200 could have afforded me performances from, let's try to remember in the order of the show.
That ain't happening.
The 2 young ladies that sang the opening act and came back and sang in the gospel set. Wait, boy. Terry Lance. First and foremost. Yeah, Terry. Brian London. Stephen Marcel. Ray, the young lady from New York.
Right.
Teron, the young man from Texas. Right?
With
Ricardo,
a big...
with a stunning resemblance to somebody else.
Yeah, the man look like LeBron James.
Yeah. Ingrid would have liked him then.
With a real nice track too, for a New Yorker living in Texas, singing soca. Keep your money radar.
Basketball?
Keep him on your
Right.
radar. Karen
Ding
Ashe.
Dong, Karina Ashe,
Karina Ashe.
Joshua Rigello, who, if you all did not know, Joshua has an actual track.
A pan tune with
A
no
pan
pan.
tune with no pan,
Yeah.
right?
Willy Holy bite its tongue.
I'll send you this song, Willy, because Israel Jones. This
Yeah,
song is Israel
No
Jones.
problem.
Quadruple entendre.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
And then we get to the unadvertised guests that just come and flatten the place. Ricardo Drew, Patrice Roberts,
Correct.
Nadia Batson, and the president of the Redman Association of Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Kes DeFrontala. All that for $200.
And
Quality lineup.
don't forget, Crow was in the mix.
Yeah, good. How good at my short man, right?
Right? Super Blue come out and level in the end.
Daddy
Daddy was on stage.
is when he call her Terry and they hear her off stage. Yes, Daddy.
Right?
Hey.
Blessed Messenger was there too.
Blessed
right?
Messenger made an appearance, yeah.
Tobago was represented by another vocalist as well.
But it had so much artists, we can't remember them all.
Right. That was Pretty.
Yeah.
Right.
And Terry Lyons too. Can't forget Terry.
Yeah.
Or we call her first.
Yeah, but I mean start and finish.
Yeah, start and finish. But
I'm Pretty dropped the track that he sang with Boris.
Must shout out LG Stage Management and Anisha Beach as well. Right?
Yeah, excellent production. Excellent show.
We should try to get Anisha on the show because I know she is in Carnival 2023 prep for her kiddies Carnival band.
Alright, nice one.
Right, so we can try to get Anisha on the show for that as well.
Yeah.
Beach and Associates.
Yeah, you know the thing, man.
Yeah. It was nice vibes, man.
Right.
Hey, we had to do this thing properly. We not asking you, where's he seeing Jelly Bean? We're not asking you, where's he just physicist? Where's the next one here on?
What's the word? Comic word.
Willy, how are you?
How am I? Yeah, come on, spot there, right?
At the plan.
So, I would say I am well in terms of one, I know my blood pressure is 123/79, so I know I'm well in that regard. But in terms of mentally, it's been tough. It's been tough since that would be the 21st of November 2018. Because I would have been home for a year. And then I would have gotten an end in Bermuda. So, it is to adjust how people say manage your expectations. So I would have gone from a competitive salary in today's economy to basically next to nothing, where your bills is, I would say, 75% of your take home. And there's a recurring expenditure. Every month you have to pay these bills. Yeah. And there's only so much you could adjust. There's only so much you could do. So there was spent the better part of 2 years there, would have moved on to another opportunity. It was a step up, was a little bit bump up in terms of salary, and then there was a falling out with me and management. Yeah, so now again I'm on the grind. So I'm home these days, well, still working with Joose, of course.
Yeah.
And still looking to see what opportunities will next come my way. So it's been a bit of a challenge, that this 4-year period or so since the ending of Petrotrin.
Yeah. Yeah. I could relate. I could definitely relate to that. In terms of getting into communications and media, graphics, even some coaching, that type of thing, because believe it or not, there are a lot of people out here trying to do things, and sometimes the way that you look at things could help them get there. Right? So it was really a season where we had to look at different elements of ourselves to see how best we could apply it to what we have to face going forward. I lie to tell you, sometimes, not even sometimes, it's by the grace of God, because I have no clue how all these years later, I mean, head still just above water, right? At times, it might get a little rogue wave, but this is really a rebuilding season. I honestly think that this will force those of us who had gotten comfortable, and I wouldn't even say comfortable because it's not like putting on your clothes and going into a high-risk environment with the type of management that we were subject to, the type of conditions was exactly comfortable, right?
And that is something that I've told a lot of people, because the first thing on people's lips called Trinidad is about where they like to watch your money.
Correct.
Because the first thing they're going to say, boy, all that money you was making, I think, no. You get paid according to the risk involved. As I'd always tell certain detractors who would have come in my inbox and whatnot, I'd have say I would exchange one night out on sea, and let me see if you would ever come and make that statement to me again. It used to be boarding vessels 2:00 in the morning on water, and it's just like you actually jumping from boat to platform, and the only light out there is the light on the platform. Everything else is pitch black. If you have stars or the full moon, you might get a difference in terms of illumination, but trust me, most of the time, people don't know. People don't know.
I wasn't even offshore, but where we were, we used to deal with Trinmai enough, right? And some of the jobs that we had were going out in the fields to restart water wells back before Tisha plant was handed over to Wassa, and you had to call security to go and start back a well so that the same residents could get water, right? You have to go with armed security, right? Just because the zone itself is so high risk, one track in, one track out kind of thing. 2:00 in the morning, rain falling, lightning flashing, and you had to climb a 60-foot, 70-foot tank to go and gauge. And then the vex when you're telling them you need batteries for your flashlight. Or let me put something in context, right? And this is something that I can't remember if I said it out loud or not. Since Petrochin's closure, I've been back to Point 14 4 times. And our family in Pointer, so that kind of bad. But here the catch,
Don't let Michelle hear that.
No. Michelle, I mean good. I could take my chances with Michelle. But I went back 4 times for 3 funerals, right? For men of varying ages, and all were for cancer. All were for cancer. Every funeral I went to with my former co-workers, and there were funerals for co-workers while we were still there, right? So when people talking about the compensation that you might have been getting, plain talk bad manners, I'm pretty certain the families would trade whatever compensation they were getting to have them with them still. Right, so that's just one thing, because we know the anniversary coming up, and you'll start to see the Facebook reminders, the posts coming, and it's an emotional time too. Right, but what I'm saying is, listen, you see this thing we have where we just be counting people money. You go a little party and you're watching to see how much tickets sell, so that you get an idea whether or not the promoter make, and them kind of let me give people a little ease up now, right? Because when you're ordering thing on Amazon to bring in, you just sit down and study how much markup Nike and Jordan.
And they're making, all you're looking is for what it is you want.
What going on there? You're mounting something? Oh, you do? You just watch your markup?
Oh.
Alright. So me and my if a man buy little knockoffs and imitations, because you know they're coming out of the same factories, and it's just some get sent to some past the QA. And
No, but now going to say, remember with the knockoffs and imitations, and please let it be known that this dog is not the dog that usually barks in from by me. This dog is by Willy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's no. Let me do that. Hey.
Wait, I did too big dog. I see
No. They locked up. This is their mother. Mac.
So see, this for one thing, the dog is not by me. Anyhow,
yeah.
The difference between sometimes the real shoe and the imitation, this be a very slight defect.
The slightest of slight.
Right. So
So
anyway, let go down that road. But one thing I want to say is that I, for one, because I worked within the company, and I would have made a decision to leave, I think back in 2009, seeing and also still being on the compound all the years after, right? To hear persons talking about the fact that, hey, they was working for so much money. And it's like, yo, come on, guys. The risk it is, as Willy said, I went offshore once in my life, and that was to do services for a company that I can't really name.
Mm-hmm.
And when that helicopter land on that platform, you ever seen movies on the man needs to start about so? That was my knees, and I went by a helicopter and had to walk down that step that was over the sea. And as I say, I can't swim.
Yeah.
So far more for people that going out on boat 1 o'clock in the morning to board a boat, and God forbid something happens and you miss your step.
Anyway.
The JHAs that persons have to fill out to do their jobs are real guys. If you did not know, the Commission of Inquiry started yesterday, into the data of the divers, and it is the biggest, I can't say the word I want to use on the radio, but the biggest cluster, whatever, that it is, and I've ever witnessed. To hear the voice recordings of those divers being played. Anyway, let me go down that road now, because I could get myself in trouble, and then Ricardo will be doing the living room by himself for the foreseeable future.
Yeah,
And we wouldn't know where that would go.
Well, I mean, look at our Williams to replace. Anyway, no relation. But
that's what this was. This was.
But Aaron is an interview. Wait, think that's happening in an interview.
But guys, listening to the things y'all are saying, it's very good to know that, some persons, when they have traumatic experiences in their life, and let's face it, the closure of Petrotrin was a traumatic experience.
Mm-hmm.
To hear persons not be able to have a conversation about it means not only that you'll have processed it, but you'll are able to relate the story so that other persons will understand the pain which was endured. Right? What also speaks volumes to me is the fact that the both of the two gentlemen that sit with me today have retooled and retrained into fields which are not totally related to what they were doing 4 years ago.
Well, I will tell you something. You see that retool and retrain? If there's one thing I have learned from having to start over your life, replot your career, all those things in your late 30s. One thing I've learned is that, you see, the idea of retirement, for me, is out the window.
What is retirement?
If I spend half of my life, right, doing something that could have literally, when you pull that rug out from under me, I have no clue what's going on and how to get back up, I'm not going to spend the second half of my life looking to get back in that, Whatever it is I doing for the second half of my life, I have to comfortably love doing till I die. The idea of retire would mean, well, I have nothing else to add, So I'm good. As opposed to trying to wait to a pension or wait for some watch or a plaque or something. I'm telling you, I have literally been at work where 3 o'clock in the morning, a superintendent died, and by 7 a.m. somebody was acting for the man, So you see that? It has taught me the value of being irreplaceable, and the only way I could be irreplaceable is if I function within the capacity that my good God designed me to function in.
And I think this is something.
The struggle is identifying that area, that niche. That is a struggle.
And this is something I think that we generally, as men, tend to struggle with. We tend to think that our worth as men is tied to our ability to provide. And it's something that I think we need to work on breaking that stigma. Because if my worth is only defined by my ability to put food on the table for a family, when the rug is swept out from under you by a decision that is not your own, and I have to stress on that, the decision was not on the owners of any of the workers. It was made from how many levels above them. Does that now diminish the role of a man?
I have my thoughts on that, but
I have some as well.
let me throw mine out and keep it real quick, as best as possible.
You don't know how to do that, Papa.
Aaron, I am not long-winded, right? I create context.
You are not known for the brevity of your Your
of my
speech.
breeze, right? I'm not long-winded, but I'm not known for the brevity of my breeze. But what I'm saying is the value, the inherent value we have as people is something that is often overlooked and suppressed in men. Sorry, oppressed in men, because a lot of it is an external thing that is applied to us. If two children fall and both crying, the one who will get in trouble for crying is the boy. You understand? I'm not saying that women have easier lives. What I'm saying is that, and I'm not saying that men have easier lives either. What I'm saying is that there are challenges that are assigned to you. There are challenges that are assigned to you. And what we see now is plain talk bad manners. And I'm going to say it as it is. Since Petrotrin has died, well, yes, as a company, Petrotrin was closed. The number of people who have died by suicide or by lifestyle, quote unquote, diseases, things like heart failure,
Kidney failure.
What I'm saying is
Diabetes, hypertension.
the things that stress causes are not even going into the suicide, because it's hard to find the suicide numbers when they don't recognize that when a man, they find him in his office and they didn't say that his death was self-motivated. They're not gonna come out and tell you what it is, because it gonna make things look bad, it gonna make people look bad, and it goes sour how. But plenty people didn't make it out of this thing because of the mental duress, because of the weight that he builds on them. Plenty marriages get mashed up on them kind of thing too, because what I mean is the role of a man is to provide, and then you can't provide. What is happening? You fail.
Wait there for.
Anyway, but all I'm saying is that if as men we can't find the inherent value in us just being here, well then, what you can stand upon when the other things get taken away?
You see that last statement Aaron made there? That what you're here for? You see that has destroyed so many lives since the closure of Petrotrin. I could give an example of a former co-worker of mine, and not to say that for lack of effort or for trying, because you would have been the sole breadwinner, married, have children, put his children through school and all that. So I would be 40 next year, God willing. He would be approaching 50. And his marriage is no more. And as I say, not for lack of trying, he opened a couple other businesses, started food, I think somewhere in Gasparilla, if I'm not mistaken, and yet still wife up and gone. Because it might sound harsh, but some people don't know how to adjust. So the lifestyle that she would have been living because of the compensation that would have come with her job in Petrotrin, she couldn't adjust it when it is that you wouldn't be able to afford the same, how to put it? It's not necessities, but your lifestyle.
Yeah.
I don't want radio, so I don't want to say anything.
Certain things, but let me say that it is hard hard for some people to adjust to adjust the quality of life.
Yeah.
Down.
So it's not easy. I have other co-workers who still home. Is a hustle here, a hustle there, and still can't nail down job, because a lot of people don't know, we were blacklisted,
Yeah.
by several other entities, and the mantra has been the same: unionized, unskilled,
Troublemaker.
lazy.
Right.
Those three words coming together every time you hear. So from the minute your resume has Petrotrin on it, I don't want to hear about you again. And got a couple calls for other energy businesses, and then same thing when they got to find out they used the Petrotrin, and it was like, all right, we're sorry, but we don't want anything to do with Petrotrin workers.
We rabble rousers now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny. So then, how am I now supposed to approach the job market if it is that I cannot put on my resume that I have 16 years or spent 16 years of my life working offshore for Petrotrin? How are you gonna come and say, all right, So they would ask you, what were you doing for this period of time? You leave out that period and say, well, where you was all this time? I say, yeah, I was working at it. But you can't leave out that because you have managerial experience.
You should put Voldemort. Just like how Voldemort is he who cannot be named Petrotrin is company that channel.
And it's a sad thing because a lot of hardworking young men who would have been starting off their lives, putting things in place, newly married, now looking to build house, so mortgage and things to pay and whatnot, and you just like that, and you're not getting anything else anyway because of the fact that you were working Petrotrin. That's totally unfair.
I know it's a sad thing. This would have happened just about a year and a half before, well, BC now.
Yeah.
I remember BC's before COVID, right? So you get sent home with a compensation package which not every employee would have had access to.
I know that firsthand.
Right? And then that money won't last forever because the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago apparently is funded and fueled by yeast, as KMC would say.
But every time I hear the term that compensation package, I get livid, you know. When I mean livid, like I know people who went home with 6 and 7 figures comfortably, and I know people who went home with $8,000 if they went home with anything. 10,000,
people like
20,000
who went home with nothing.
Right? Because anyway.
Because of technicalities, yeah.
Technicalities. And
that's the thing. This comes back to something that, Ricardo, you know I'm very passionate about in our country, that we need a systematic reform. So the same way how the Severance Act is dated, I think 2001, if my memory serves me correct. You can't be judged by a constitution that is based in 1976. Same way how we can't operate with the principles and a system of valuing men that was built in 18-something. Because if these are the systems that are in place that judge the school of thought of the persons that are in positions of power, as well as within your homes, we are doomed. Because if we are still thinking that it's not okay for a man to show emotions and be emotionally intelligent or vulnerable, what are we breeding our young men to think? And then we also have a generation of young men that coming up here listening to some lyrics that is unbecoming.
And idolizing.
No, Aaron, I know as a DJ, you do your best to properly steward the impact you have over your listeners. So, I hear you. I recognize. But I kind of on the line when it comes to that music thing too, because while there are people who take the struggle and the oppression and the realities of our demographic of our society and fiscalize it and push it so that it would actually suppress demographics and so on and so forth, I still, as a creative, also acknowledge that what they're singing about coming from a place that really exists.
No, in no way, form, or fashion, as I said when I was interviewed for the article that we spoke about. For the Newsday, and no way, form, or fashion am I saying that the music doesn't have a place. What I'm saying is the lyrics, it's very straightforward. Just like how somebody could sing a pan song that's not a pan song.
Right.
You could sing about, quote unquote, the life without singing about the life. Watch how Shadow sing about Obia Man. Without singing about Obia.
And men say we could make it if we try, and you think it's a
love song
as opposed to being about a recession.
About a recession, that's the thing. Even though the first line, I think in the second verse is that recession jamming.
Well, all we hear is jamming.
To foreign countries, Trini start migrating.
Let me ask us a question.
That is still prevalent today.
I know good to ask that real wild question, Willy. Willy, I know you're a man, you bleed red, white, and black. But if you get a chance to migrate 2023, you're going or you're staying?
Because trainees start migrating.
To be very honest, that would be my fiance and I have been discussing. No, thank you. Have been discussing nothing. Now, personally, I love Trinidad. I don't want to leave here. But the way things going, I might have no choice in it.
This the brain drain is not just about the fact that I finish school, get a degree, and I'll leave, you know. The brain drain is also about the businessmen, it's about the commenters, it's about the protesters, it's about the people who hold other people and systems accountable, it's about the teachers, it's about... We don't understand that brain drain as a term, as far as I'm concerned, is even that I find kind of get weaponized, because now you make it look as if it's only academics and intellectuals
that are leaving,
and that they are the resource.
No, and
right.
As I always say, you know, Ricardo, I'm very passionate about succession planning and those things. The day when we stop teaching trades in school is one of the worst decisions we ever made in this country. I say it and I have no qualms about saying it. Because not everybody is academically inclined. So
let me interject. Let me interject 1 second. You're saying that stop teaching it in schools, but programs are there throughout.
No, you're talking about secondary school.
Yeah, secondary school, but there are still programs for people who are not academically inclined, who when they leave school, even though they might just get cycled through the system, and when they leave school, they can't attend. They have programs that pay you stipends. But the key to what is causing the so-called drain is that a lot of us don't want to work.
Well, I was going to get to that, and not just that, Willie, I'll go a step further. When your parents not accepting that a trade is a viable form of income,
that is very true.
Because we still have the school of thought, as I said, that doctors, lawyers, and engineers are the only 3 fields of employment that matter.
Of which we have a surplus.
So here the catch, right? The only bright bulbs in Trinidad is LED. Lawyer, engineer, and doctor.
Yeah.
That is the mindset.
I like that though.
Thank you very much though. Right? But
they should copyright that.
Right? I shouldn't.
Right? No, but and that's what is going on. You ain't bright unless it's one of the 3. So you could be a crack shot mechanic, right? You could be a top-notch electrician. You could be a number 1 plumber. And you leave Trinidad and Tobago and do that somewhere else and get paid in US and in euros.
And I'm going to say, or in the Middle East.
Or in the Middle East. Right?
So, because think about it, because salaries are comparable globally, right? How much you paying for a plumber to come and do something home by you?
I do not myself, boy.
Per day, think about it.
I do not myself, though.
You know how much me, Willy? With that, those jobs get the oil money that we used to talk about us making. Them fellas getting that per job per day, you know. So though the guys, I ain't saying that them fellas and them swimming in it, you know. Right? Oh, sorry, fellas and fellets. I don't want to. It's 2022. We gotta be gender wise now.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, you make 2-3 job for the day, and what you charge for each visit, for each repair, for each site, etc., is more than comparable to men take home, you know.
If not more than your daily take home.
I just saying, right, that right now everybody balling because they're looking for people to do things for day work, and everybody want a handyman because they know they can't afford to call a specialist. Right? So if the only bright we know is LED, what going to happen? The drain for me is in
the land of the blind. You want I man?
As a partner say already, he say I'm an engineer, might be able to tell you how the car works, you know, but it's the mechanic he calling to fix it. Right? What going on here? It is not so much a brain drain as a heart, the part kind of thing, because it's the is the people that leave in carrying skills, carrying passion, carrying qualities.
In a sense, we are truly the architects of our own demise.
Yes. Agreed. 100% agreed.
Okay.
We are getting perilously close to the hour of that time, right? Time flying to the hour 7 p.m. here in Trinidad and Tobago. If you don't know what time it is where you are, you are locked onto the True Nation station WACK 90.1 FM.
Willy,
This discussion could take up to hours, I think we gotta have a discussion with management, because something like this way, you just scratching the surface.
well,
We
Willy,
can go on and on with
Talk
this.
to your partner, Kenny.
Willy, what you feel I bring you here for, brother man?
Mm.
The premise is the conversations have to continue. The conversations have to continue. And this is why I wanted the people to understand who it is we bring in the living room. Because here the catch. Aaron and I have a brilliant dynamic where I don't want to call him best. I don't want to say best friends on air because he's a man that's go home and make them think he ringtone and them kinds of things, right? But Aaron has
Everyone is always on silent. Always.
right. And then you go to say something that would get you in trouble. But the premise is, Aaron and I have a brilliant rapport. But having you here, even in this discussion, change the dynamic of the conversation. So you talking about we had to have a longer show? No, sir. Right? We need a bigger living room. Right? So this is why we doing this segment, which is why we want to get more voices involved. I personally want people to be able to present the opinions and the postulations, because this is not going to turn into an echo chamber of high-fiving each other and saying yes, sir. Right?
Yeah.
This has to be a space where these conversations have to let the people who have something to say feel heard.
And also, we know that the living room in its formative stages was initially a call-in program. And because of the pandemic, that was BC, it was a call-in program, right? But because of the pandemic, we took it to a virtual platform, and we are trying to incorporate the listeners. So if even you are listening to the program right now, and you have something that you want to share with the listeners of WAC 90.1 FM, feel free. You could call the station and they would pass on the contact information to you. And don't call because you're trying to pull a smart shot and tackle Ricardo. Huh?
Yeah, I ain't let it tell you. I ain't looking for that smoke.
That was oddly specific.
Yeah,
No,
just
yeah,
say.
That has happened.
No, what I'm saying is that Aaron is open to being tackled, right? I'm not in a position to be open to being tackled. So I understand why he's saying
open to being
don't
tackled.
try no shot on Cardo. But continue shooting all the shots with Aaron, because
What?
if I'm not mistaken, being the founder of the and the president of the Single Men's Association of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, SMARTT, right? Aaron is a smart man. And being a smart man, he is open to a conversation. So all I hit him up on his phone number is, anyway, I'm gonna go down that road.
Yeah,
Willy.
please don't.
Will you hear this
Yes.
now? What football team are back in for the World Cup?
I am
Qatar.
100% German,
So
and have been since 1988. So that's who my father used to support. That's who I was introduced to, and that's who I have followed since.
So
What about you, Ricardo?
your two World Cup side was West Germany and Germany.
Well, West Germany became Germany. West and East, because East Germany never really used to say anything. So West Germany became Germany. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about you, Ricardo?
Yeah, well, I would have liked to say Soca Warriors, but that's part of the hard part that we're talking about. But anyway,
We might be able to see that in 2026. Who knows?
I mean,
Maybe able to.
Seeing that is we are 32-team tournament. We have
And we get an
and
extra
I'm
spot.
40 and I'm 48 coming. And my good partner Radanfa Abubakar has opened a training college. I'm seeing this young lady with the gymnastics. She opened Thema
Yeah.
Williams. She's at Williams too?
no relation.
No relation.
No relation.
Yeah. Right. She opened academic institute as well. So what I'm saying is I'm seeing that they investing in the future of the youth with athletics and academia. I I'm glad to hear that. So as much as we're seeing,
that's a whole topic for another time, because yes, youth have been getting a lot more opportunities that we would have been exposed to as children, and the only thing is that somehow the desire seems to not be there. So we could discuss that at another time.
Willy, you know the address now, you know.
That being said, big up Benedict, sir.
Big up Benedict.
I appreciate that. Thanks much.
Ben
not
City.
you we talking about.
Huh?
Not you we talking about, sir.
Hey, I paved the way.
We talking about
I paved the way. I was there. I paved the way.
I'm playing.
The John Stedmans and they paved the way for me. Paved the way for those youths.
Big up John and all.
Big up the Liberties and them fellas. What else? Right? There are a lot of Benedict's men and women who are reinvesting in building all the alumni and all the society, so that all it could be more supportive and create
we have been trying to get it fully functioning. Because we look at you all and we look at NAPS and we want to know what is lacking on our end.
And
shout out to the past students for the input this year, and especially that football program, because the coach and the coaching staff, the pre-season camp that they would have sent these students to, all these different things, it is showing the benefits now, and I wish you all the best of luck on Friday. And we know that Benedict will beat prayers, because I do have faith in that prayers.
The views expressed by Aaron Williams are not the views of Ricardo Mitchell, right? I have one foot in each camp, to be honest with you, right?
I being honest, Carlo, because I went and watched Benedict play a couple games this season.
Benedict
Saluna.
Is Ben City the fellas?
Benedict Saluna or something, or whatever it is. Them fellas playing ball.
I love the brand. I love what the program is doing. I acknowledge that COVID prevented the poaching of several of our star athletes.
I made that point.
Right? So it's a good
system.
It's good to see the system get a chance to.
Also, I just saying, back in the day, if Niles was playing when we was playing football, he was getting clean up for half them fancy thing he was trying,
Yeah, Niles.
No, Cardo, you was not footballer. So you wouldn't understand. It's either man or ball.
What I'm grateful for is that the sport and the mentality has evolved to the point where we're not risking men careers and them kinds of things.
No. When I say clean up, I talk about a hard tackler. I'm not talking about things to damage anybody.
Aaron, what I'm saying is that there's a reason that I put a stop to those things, right? Way too many talents have been lost, not just because, right, they didn't have discipline or opportunities. A lot of these youths and them max by the end of intercal because at the end of the
injury.
Right?
No, and
but anyway, this conversation will continue.
You know what, Aaron? You didn't mention which team you support.
Soca Warriors.
So you not on the international teams at all?
I honestly,
I could respect that.
I could respect watching it for good football right now.
Likewise. Generally, my two teams for years, Argentina and Spain. Love Argentina since Batistuta days, Pablo Aymar and them fellas.
Big baller.
Right? Love Spanish football. I love Spanish football.
No, there's a Barca fans.
But this year, I am backing any African team.
The disappointment of Mane not being in the tournament.
Man.
I really like to see
Mane yesterday. It was very apparent. Guys, Willy, any closing remarks? Because we're wrapping up. Mr. Desmond is here already and he watching the board little.
I just want to say thank you for bringing me onto the program, and hopefully this will be the start of a very cordial relationship and productive relationship.
Yeah. So I'll get a double dose of Williams this evening, and the angle at the time real fly.
We got double dose of Mitchell last week.
Fair enough.
Relation on the Williams and
Yeah.
No nepotism here.
Yeah.
Hit this man up. He this man away.
You
Visiting
openly
man.
said it was nepotism last week.
Well, yes, because my accountant partner tell me that your network is your net worth. So what you want me to do again? I will enhance my network with who already in it. You know, you had to pick a side, you know. You had to pick a side. You can't have it both ways.
Pick a side.
These are really everything had to do with music for you, boy.
I can't fault him on that.
Yo, this is
Soca's life.
This is Ricardo Mitchell, the babyface sage. At least until I grow back my goatee. Reminding you guys that the hourglass is opaque. We don't know how much time remains, so whatever you're doing, be good and stay safe. Happy post Men's International Men's Day. Fellas, we had to be able to do this. We had to be able to sit down and talk and get things off with chest and bounce it off each other so that we could carry this thing forward. And as I keep saying, work hard, play hard, pray hard, because society needs us. Right. On that note, big up the wellness group on the Facebook too, because main lie to tell you, all I inform out. All I wear now the road is baby oil now, you know. I'm going everywhere I could go bareback.
Baby oil and wife beaters.
Baby oil and vest, you know. What? Listen, I ain't lie to tell you, just a little accountability really going a long way, Jed.
It does. Let me just you need that extra push from people outside your circle.
Yeah.
Come and get that motivation for you to continue.
Yeah, so big up the whole group. Right. Kieran?
Whatever you do, please do not let me see you anywhere in baby oil and a wife beaters. Because I will call the TTPS, and just like how they were moving in drones during the City Week Juve on Saturday, they will come very quickly for you.
Yo,
With that being said, to the drivers,
blame it on the loose juice.
With that being said, to the drivers of the vehicles that were speeding through the crowds, stop all this stupidness. Anyway, this is your shitty DJ Aaron 868. I'm always great and I'm never late. I remind you every week that love is the currency, so spend some today. And as we are coming to the end of Men's Health Month and Men's Health Awareness Month, and we celebrated International Men's Day on Saturday, I ask that you show the men in your life some appreciation. We don't need no fancy gifts. That's your phrase. We need gifts other than socks and drawers. That sounds better.
I'll take that.
Right? We need to remember that the value of a man shall not be determined by the amount of money that he puts on the table. His value shall be determined by what he brings to the table. If even the value is to build the table. Right? So guys, keep it locked to the True Nation station, WACK 90.1 FM. Mr. Desmond is up next with the big band. I'm not going to be on this Friday, but you can catch me next week, Tuesday, inside the living room with Ricardo Mitchell. Yeah, we out.
Hey, Willy. You had to work on your outro, right?
Oh, well, don't worry. Just follow the rules. Number one rule of social media.
Don't bring sense in these days.
Correct.
Wow.
Hey, well, let's take it easy.
All right, go. Good night.
What do I wish on my Christmas list? It don't matter. I don't ever forget what I want from Santa. Mr. Santa Claus, I think it's high time you take a pause. Well, could you tell me what is the cause? Why every year I only get socks and drawers? You see, as a bad boy, but this year I was good. I behave so nice, I do all the things that I should. It's not cause you're watching, I had love in my heart. No, I was behaving from since the start. I will come to the North Pole, I will coffee in your nose hole. I will pelt you with a snowball, you're doing this ever since I small. Mr. Santa Claus, every year I only get socks and drawers. Well, could you tell me what is the cause? Why every year I only get socks and drawers? When you're making your list and you're checking it twice, you have to admit, this year I was nice. I cut out the liquor and I hardly swear. So you better not give me no damn underwear. I'll go hunt all the reindeer. You think I'm a muck? I'm going by Scrunter, and we gon' make a little cook. Mr. Santa Claus, every year I only get socks and drawers. Well, could you tell me why is the cause? Why every year I only get socks and drawers?